Hey guys, coming at you today with a delicious summer keto dessert, some cute little Keto Key Lime Pie bites. So let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alicia and I'm a sous chef with a sweet tooth. And here we make delicious pastries, many from my time as a pastry chef. And my goal is to make the best keto desserts possible. If you enjoy this content, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting the thumbs up. It all helps my channel grow and to bring you new keto desserts every Saturday. Today we're making delicious mini key lime pies. And key lime pie is very simple. It's just sweetened condensed milk, egg, and key lime juice. Now, making it keto, on the other hand, is another story. But I figured out a delicious sweetened condensed milk recipe. All the ones I see online, they say you can use any keto sweetener you want to make this. But I could not get a sweetened condensed milk that was not crystallized. And it kind of annoys me that people just write these recipes and don't mention the fact that monk fruit, erythritol, and all those other sweeteners crystallize when you cook them. So I made one with allulose and it turned out awesome. And I'm sorry for all those people in the UK that can't use allulose, but it's like the only thing that gives you a creamy sweetened condensed milk. And creamy anything really. Like I tried making caramel sauce with monk fruit. I tried doing brittle with monk fruit. When it all cools, it gets like a coating of crystal sugar on top of it. I made this ahead of time. This is the hardest part of the recipe. I did this last night. You can do it the day of. It just has to cool for about an hour in the refrigerator before you use it. To make this, I just put a pan over medium heat with a cup of heavy cream and 6 tablespoons of allulose. I whisked it all together until it was all melted, and then I reduced the heat to medium-low. Now my stove is crazy, and I can't really get it to medium-low, but on a regular stove, medium-low for 15 minutes should get you the exact right consistency of sweetened condensed milk. Just every once in a while, I stirred it with a spatula until it got thicker and it turns like a tan color. Because allulose caramelizes, unlike some other sugar substitutes that we have. But then as soon as you get to that point, after 15 minutes, you take it off the heat, you add butter and vanilla extract, you whisk it all up and throw it into the refrigerator. I usually strain mine just in case you get any caramelized bits of sugar that you miss if you didn't stir it right away. But you should get about a cup of sweetened condensed milk for this recipe. Since we got our sweetened condensed milk ready, we can move on to making the crust for this key lime pie. And I know the traditional is a graham cracker crust, and I will be working on a keto graham cracker soon. I just didn't have the time this week, so I decided to do shortbread crust. And it's a very simple recipe. It's just a stick of butter, 48 grams of granular monkfruit sweetener. You can use any sweetener you want though. 64 grams of coconut flour and a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum, and a little bit of vanilla extract. So I'm gonna melt my 1 stick of butter. And once I get this all together, I'll turn on my oven. It takes a little while to make your little individual crusts, but they come out so cute in little individual cups for easy portion control. And each one of these is only 2.5 grams of net carbs for a mini key lime pie. Now you can probably make this in a 9x13 pan and make like key lime pie bars, but I would double both recipes, the crust and the filling. So to our 1 stick of butter, I'm adding our granular monk fruit, giving it a little whisk. You want it kind of combined, and add your 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I cut this recipe in half from my 9x13 pecan pie bars. I'll link that up there for you if you want to make those. Once that's mostly incorporated, you can just add in your sifted and whisked dry ingredients. You just want to make sure the xanthan gum is incorporated into your coconut flour. You just need a little whisk, and then you can switch to a spatula to get it all mixed in. The coconut flour absorbs so awesome, and you don't need a lot of it. It's great. Give that a little stir, and it's all incorporated. It's like a shortbread dough. Now, this is the only tedious part of the recipe, but you can be as meticulous as you want to be. You don't have to be at all if you don't want to be. I'm a little meticulous, so it takes me a while to make these crusts. You want to put about a tablespoon into each one of these cupcake molds. And this scooper is my smallest scooper. It's even smaller than my set that I have. So I fill it up and take a tiny bit out, and it's about a tablespoon. But you can also just use a tablespoon measure. I did that for the last batch. Tiny bit left. You can add a little bit to each one. Want to use it all. It's all counted in the macros. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to turn my oven on to 350. And you just start molding these in there. Kind of break it up and like move it around. You want it pretty thin. Make sure you get into the corners and get them smushed up. You can also do this with any of my other cheesecake crusts. You know, we use our almond flour as a graham cracker base on our cheesecakes. I just don't prefer the texture of almond flour. I like this shortbread recipe. And they're ready to pop in. Looks so cute. Again, I'm a perfectionist and I want to keep going back and fixing them. But I'm gonna pop these into the oven. 350 degrees for 12 to 14 minutes. You want to keep a close eye on them. You do want them pretty golden brown though, because they don't cook much after when you put the filling in, and you want them not to be like too blonde on the outside. The crusts do have to cool once they come out, and the filling takes like 2 seconds to put together. So see you back here when the crusts are pretty much cooled. And the crusts have been out for about 10 minutes or so. They cooked for just under 12, so I'm gonna put like 10 to 12 minutes on the recipe. You want them nice and golden brown all around the edges. Now it's time to mix up the filling. And it's super easy. Once you have the sweetened condensed milk, it's just 2 eggs and a 1/4 cup of lime juice. And we're just gonna use a whisk to make sure it's all nice and incorporated. I'm gonna beat up the eggs a little bit first. Turn this down a little bit. Even on one, it's crazy. And then add in your sweetened condensed milk. I would use a hand mixer, but my hand mixer is even crazier than this. You get all your sweetened condensed in there. And then just a 1/4 cup of lime juice. Now, this is the one that my pastry chef always uses, and I think it's kind of the quintessential key lime juice. But if you have fresh key limes, definitely use them. Not sure how many you'll need for a 1/4 cup, but I'm sure it will be delicious if you use fresh squeezed lime juice. Now this, I had to really search for how many carbs are in this. The back of the package says 1 teaspoon is 0 carbs. Well, yeah, 1 teaspoon. How much for a 1/4 cup? So I had to look it up, and I figured out for a 1/4 cup, it's like 4.9, so 5 grams for a 1/4 cup. Add that in, whisk it up. That's it. Filling is done. Now, as you can see, there are a bunch of bubbles on top of the mixture. It's fine to use it like this, but you do get like little like air pocket bubbles on top of your key lime pie. So a trick for that is to strain it. Gets rid of the air bubbles. Still tastes fine without it. You don't have to strain it. Still got you got littler ones now instead of bigger ones. Take your cooled pie crusts. I'm gonna start conservative and only go up to the top of the crust, but I'm pretty sure I can go up even further than that. My test last night, I had extra. I reduced my oven temperature to 300 for the baking of these. A little bit higher. You want to make sure your crusts are cooked enough, because if not, the filling might just soak into the crust instead of sit on top of the crust. I'm going to bake these little mini key lime pies for about 20 minutes. I'm going to turn halfway through. I'm going to keep an eye on them. You just want them a little bit jiggly in the middle. Mini key limes are out of the oven. They took 18 minutes. I don't know if you can see, they're a little wobbly. Kind of hard to see, probably especially on camera. You don't want them completely hard. Now these gotta cool for 10 minutes on the counter, and then I'm gonna pop them into the refrigerator to set completely. They should take about an hour to set, but obviously overnight is preferred. Gonna let these cool, and then we're gonna make some keto whipped cream to put on top. We'll be back soon to try these guys. Key lime pies are chilling in the fridge. I put them on a plate so that they'll cool faster instead of being in metal. So those are chilling. I'm gonna make my keto whipped cream. This is the same kind of recipe I used for my orange poke cake. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it up there for you. It's just whipped cream and you stabilize it with a little bit of gelatin because I don't want the whipped cream to get soft on top of my 12 mini key lime pies. First, I need to bloom my gelatin in some cold water. I'm only making half the recipe from the poke cake, so only a cup of heavy cream, tablespoon of water, teaspoon of gelatin, 2 tablespoons of powdered monk fruit sweetener, and a little bit of stevia and vanilla extract. So I'm just gonna add my powdered monk fruit into my 1 cup of cream. My gelatin is bloomed, so I am going to microwave it for about 10 seconds. All right, 10-second intervals until it's completely melted. All depends on what power your microwave is. I'm gonna add in a couple drops of my vanilla liquid stevia, and just a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whip it a little bit more, and then we're gonna temper our gelatin. Okay, we're at soft peaks. I need a whisk. Scoop of whipped cream in there. Give it a whisk. You do this so you don't get clumps of gelatin in your whipped cream. There you go. This is easier to do in a stand mixer, but it takes a lot longer. So, kind of gonna finagle here. Stream this back in as you whisk. And then I'm gonna have to stop and scrape this out and whisk some more till you get stiff peaks. That's it. Okay, now we're gonna add it into our piping bag. Now you can put this into a glass to hold it so that you can get it in there and not get it all over the place. Or you can put it over your hand and have the opening like that and scoop it in. Culinary teacher in high school said we'd fail if we got anything on the outside of our bag. This is a really tiny bag, so not gonna be able to put all the whipped cream in there. Fold it back over. You grab up the top and squeeze it. And if you can twist it, you can twist it, but I don't have much room. So that's ready to go. We got a little bit more whipped cream in there if we need it. Let's see if our mini key lime pies are chilled enough to pipe some whipped cream on. And they're not fully chilled through yet, but they're cool enough that I can decorate them. I'm gonna take my piping bag and do a little swirl in top. This is the one from last night that I'm gonna try. So I gotta decorate it and make it look pretty. And this will last in your refrigerator for about a week. That's the nice thing about the gelatin. I do have a lime, so I'm gonna do a little zesty zest on top of each one. Then you can also take the lime, cut it in half, cut it in half again, cut it into little triangles. This is if you wanna get fancy for a party or something. Or for a pretty thumbnail. Pretty key lime pies. They're so cute. And only less than 3 grams of net carb per pie with the whipped cream. Only 2.5 without it. Time to dig into one. I'm gonna put these in the refrigerator to chill some more. Here's my chilled key lime pie from last night. So happy when they came out right last night because I'm like, I need to shoot tomorrow. I wasn't sure I was gonna get it. But they come out perfectly off the cupcake wrapper, even if you get the filling above the crust. So if you don't put the crust as high and the filling's up there a little bit, it still comes right off. I tested a couple different ways. Little key lime pie. So cute. Goodbye. I haven't tried it with whipped cream yet. It is creamy, crunchy and buttery on the outside. Nice custard filling on the inside. That lime zest on top adds a little bit of fresh lime flavor. It is super good. Hope you guys make this recipe for yourself. Let me know in the comments below if you do and how it turns out. And what other summer desserts are your favorites? If you make any of my desserts, you can tag me on Instagram at Keto Upgrade Chef. The link will be below for my Instagram. I'd love to see your desserts. Don't forget to check out my Amazon links and the blog link in the description box for the full recipe. Subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with many more keto dessert recipes. Bye guys.